How do you turn this into this? Well, a lot depends on the tires you choose, and I'll explain why today as we talk tires. So Porsche unveiled this monster recently at the Los Angeles Auto Show. It's the new Porsche 911 Dakar, which was engineered to perform both on the road and in the dirt. Only 2,500 of these will be built for the global market, and the starting price is a mere $222,000 US. So start saving your pennies now and get in line for one of the few models that will be available worldwide. Now, what's fascinating to me is the challenge Porsche engineers faced when choosing the tires for this off-roading 911. The problem they had is that they were designing a car that needed to do two things and do them well. It had to perform well off-road, and it had to perform well on-road, even on a track. That means they needed tires that could handle both types of road surfaces really well, and that's a really big challenge. Now, typically, when picking a tire for a vehicle, you would consider how it's going to be used. One car might be built for the road, and so you'd want it to be able to grip the pavement so that it handles like it's on rails. All right, well, here's an ultra high performance tire for that particular car. Another car might be built for off-roading, and so you need a tire that can handle rough roads, rocks. It needs to be tough enough so that it doesn't get damaged when crawling over sharper surfaces or sharp rocks. All right, well, here's the all-terrain or rough terrain tire that's ideal for the job. But what do you do with a vehicle like the 911 Dakar that needs to do both? I mean, you could use two sets of tires, one for the track and one for the dirt, but that's not what Porsche decided to do. Instead, they worked with Pirelli to develop a tire that can do both and do both well. How? Well, they took the Scorpion All-Terrain Plus tire and then they tweaked it to create a tire that's as unique as the Porsche 911 Dakar. Now, before I explain how they tweaked these tires, let's look at how unique this 911 is and how the attributes and abilities of this car made it necessary for engineers to engineer the right tires. For starters, because it had to perform both on-road and off-road, Porsche made this 911 height adjustable so that it can sit lower to the ground when it's whipping around a track and higher off the ground when dealing with obstacles in the dirt. So right out of the box, the 911 Dakar sits 50 millimeters or about 2 inches higher than a 911 Carrera model equipped with sport suspension. But then you can raise the front and the rear of the car by another 30 millimeters or 1.2 inches when going off-road, which according to Porsche gives the 911 Dakar the same ride height and ramp over angles as some SUVs. Now, the extra height, according to Porsche, is only for clearing obstacles at low speeds. Now, this isn't my definition of low speeds, but Porsche says that once you go over 105 miles an hour or 170 kilometers an hour, the car returns to its normal ride height. Engineers also added steel plates at the front and the back of the car to protect it from damage. They removed the rear seats, they added a rollover bar, and they made a number of other cosmetic and mechanical changes to assure that this 911 is rally ready. Now, let's get back to the tires. First, let's keep in mind that although these are Scorpion All-Terrain Plus tires, they're not off the rack. Like I said before, they've been tweaked to work with the demands of the 911 Dakar. In other words, you won't find these at your local tire retailer for your vehicle because they were specifically engineered just for this vehicle. Now, I contacted Pirelli to ask about what sets these tires apart from normal Scorpion All-Terrain Plus tires on the market, and here's what I found out. The 911 Dakar wears 245 45 19-inch tires in the front and 295 40 20-inch tires at the rear. These are sizes that are exclusive to the 911 Dakar. Pirelli told me that no other Scorpion All-Terrain Plus tires are available in these sizes at the moment. So that's one way that they tweaked these tires, by making them in sizes that simply didn't exist before. Pirelli also told me that this tire has a double carcass. Now, we can think of the carcass as the foundation or the backbone of a tire. It's what gives it strength and structure. Pirelli told me that the two-ply construction of the carcass guarantees the off-road capability of the tires. They explained that this type of carcass, as well as the materials used, are not common on tires made for sports cars, but in this case, they had to combine the two personalities of this vehicle when designing this tire. In other words, they needed a tire that would suit a sports car, and they needed a tire that would be suitable on an off-roader. Another interesting fact about this custom-made tire is that it has a tread depth of only 9 millimeters or 11/32 of an inch. But if you or I were to buy a set of these tires for our own vehicles, we wouldn't find any with that tread depth. Tread depth on these tires is usually higher, as much as 15/32 or 12 millimeters, which makes sense because you want that extra tread depth when you're out in the bush crawling over all sorts of terrain. So that's another way that these tires were tweaked. The tread depth was reduced. Now, I asked Pirelli why they reduced the tread depth for the 911 Dakar, and they explained that this was a necessary compromise. The lower tread depth allows the 911 Dakar to perform like a sports car on dry roads, including the racetrack. In fact, Pirelli added that 9 millimeters is significantly higher than a typical summer tire for a normal Porsche 911, and it's lower than what we find on Scorpion All-Terrain Plus tires available on the market today. Finally, this is the first Scorpion All-Terrain Plus tire with a V speed rating, which means the tire is approved for speeds up to 149 miles per hour or 240 kilometers per hour. Most of the Scorpion All-Terrain Plus tires on the market today max out at a speed rating of about S or T. So this is quite an improvement, and it's another way that this tire was tweaked for this particular vehicle. And Pirelli added, this is the first application ever of a Scorpion All-Terrain Plus tire on a sports car, and really, that's no surprise since these tires are designed for off-road enthusiasts and not sports car owners. Except in this case where Porsche engineers needed a tire that could handle both. The only drawback to these tires, according to Porsche, is that the top speed of the 911 Dakar is limited to 149 miles per hour or 240 kilometers per hour. The 911 Carrera GTS, which has the same engine, has a top speed of 195 miles per hour or 311 kilometers an hour, but was designed for the road, sits closer to the ground, and has dedicated ultra-high performance tires that glue it to the pavement. Oh, and just in case you're wondering, you can tell that these tires were specifically engineered for the Porsche 911 Dakar by looking at the sidewall. There you'll find the marking NA0. The N tells you that this tire was designed for Porsche, the A tells you that it was designed for the 911, and the 0 means that this is the first approved version of a tire designed for this model. Subsequent versions will have the designation NA1, NA2, and so on. So, hats off to Pirelli and Porsche for working together to develop a tire for the 911 Dakar that combines sports car performance with off-roading prowess. This is really a unique tire for a very unique car. Now, if you're wondering why anyone would need a tire that is rated for speeds as high as 149 miles an hour or 240 kilometers an hour, check out this video here where we explain why you might need a tire that's rated for speeds that you will never legally drive in North America. And as always, thanks for watching.